A United States intel report on the 25th of May raised alarming concerns over Pakistan's expanding stockpile of nuclear weapons. But the US intel report also claims that Pakistan is terrified of India and it views Bharat as an existential threat or a threat to Pakistan's very survival. This explains why Islamabad called India to request a ceasefire, even after India struck 9 terror camps and then 11 Pakistani air bases, while the Indus Water Treaty still remains in abeyance. The US intel report stated, quote, Pakistan regards India as an existential threat and will continue to pursue its military modernization effort, including development of battlefield nuclear weapons, to offset India's conventional military advantage, unquote. The United States Defense Intelligence Agency revealed how Pakistan continues to acquire weapons of mass destruction-related materials from foreign sources while maintaining close military ties with China, Islamabad's only means of challenging Indian military superiority. With countries and regions like Hong Kong, Singapore, Turkey, and even the United Arab Emirates being used by Pakistan for the transshipment of WMD materials and technology, while the primary source and supplier remains China.
Beggars can't be choosers.
The US intel report adds that India does not see Pakistan as a threat and New Delhi is instead focused on China. The report stated, quote, Pakistan primarily is a recipient of China's economic and military largesse, and Pakistani forces conduct multiple combined military exercises every year with Chinese PLA, including a new air exercise completed in November 2024. To offset India's conventional military advantage, Pakistan will continue to rack up military modernization efforts, especially in terms of development of battlefield nuclear weapons. The report comes at the same time when collusion between Pakistan and China has touched new heights, especially after India conducted Operation Sindoor. So much so that Beijing is now rushing its own Stealth 35A stealth fighters to Pakistan. China will be fast-tracking the deliveries of its fifth-generation fighters to Pakistan after Pakistan's Foreign Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Ishaq Dar visited China last week. The proposed sale poses a big but important question. How can an economically shattered nation like Pakistan, which is surviving on IMF bailouts for basic survival, will pay for such expensive weapons and stealth aircraft? Will China give it as a gift to keep India focused on multiple fronts? The DIA report observed that India views China and not Pakistan as its primary adversary and considers Pakistan more of an ancillary security problem. Remember, there is a valid threat of Pakistani nukes falling in the hands of terror groups flourishing inside Pakistan, or even worse, Islamic State or AQ. The fear arises that Islamabad is recognized as a nation practicing terror as a state policy due to the blurred lines between Pakistani army, the ISI, and terror groups like Lashkar and Jaish. Weapons of mass destruction in Pakistan's arsenal include 100 nuclear weapons and 200 ballistic missiles, according to a report by Stockholm Institute of Research. With 170 warheads, it exceeds the projection made by DIA in 1999 that Pakistan would have only 60 to 80 warheads by 2020. If this massively advancing growth rate is to be accounted, the number of warheads is expected to exceed 200 in this decade. Now, the IAEA constituted an international panel on fissile material, which estimated that Pakistan has created about 4,000 kilograms of weapons-grade uranium, 90% plus enrichment, called highly enriched uranium, and about 400 kilograms of weapons-grade plutonium. Meanwhile, in a diplomatic overture, Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif expressed his desire to engage in peace talks with India after the long-drawn conflict between two nuclear-armed nations. Emphasizing on a need for dialogue on the 28th of May during his visit to Iran, Sharif reiterated, quote, We want to resolve all disputes with India through dialogue and peaceful means. I am ready to talk with India to improve relations and bring stability to this region, unquote. But from India's past experiences and Islamabad's persistent outreach to China to conspire against India, can Pakistan be trusted? Pakistan should be scared of India due to its tactical success during Operation Sindoor, when its forces dominated the air battle, smashing 9 terror bases and 11 Pakistani air bases at will, and satellite images prove and verify Indian strikes. As per a report by the Hindustan Times quoting Indian officials, Indian missiles on the 10th of May destroyed a Saab 2000 airborne and early warning system, or AWACS, approximately 350 kilometers inside Pakistani territory. Not only this, a C-130J medium-lift transport aircraft, 1 JF-17 fighter jet, and 2 F-16 jets were also downed in the air and on the ground by Indian strikes. Scalp and BrahMos supersonic missiles carried by Rafale and Sukhoi 30 MKI completely neutralized Pakistan's air operations as they attacked multiple air bases deep inside Pakistani territory. The HT report also confirmed that Indian Navy looked ready to target the Karachi naval port on the 10th of May morning, with its armada moving 260 miles off the coast. India's plan to scale up its attacks brought Islamabad to its senses, and soon Pakistani military DGMO called India to request a ceasefire and ask for a no-attack agreement. Before that, Pakistan had launched its own operation. However, it only lasted about 8 hours and caused negligible damage in India. Pakistan's claims of destroying an Indian S-400 were busted by Prime Minister Modi himself when he visited the same airbase the next day with the S-400 proudly in the background. This forced Islamabad to seek a ceasefire the same day by reaching out to the United States to intervene. Meanwhile, the Eurasian Times has asserted, after speaking to reliable sources, that Indian S-400 air defense system has created a world record. This by securing the longest kill by a surface-to-air missile by hitting Pakistani aerial target at a distance of 314 kilometers, possibly an AWACS. With the launch of the SAM, it took out a force multiplier of the Pakistani Air Force. It was the Saab Area 2000 AWACS aircraft, or the flying radar. Pakistan's Air Marshal Masood Akhtar, retired, had confirmed on the 16th of May that Pakistan lost another AWACS aircraft at the hands of India. He claimed how BrahMos missiles during the operation destroyed Pakistan's prized Airborne Warning and Control System, or AWACS aircraft, stationed inside the hangar of the Bhulari Air Base. As the dust settles between India and Pakistan, freshly emerging reports also suggest there was extensive damage caused to the Murid Air Base of Pakistan. When looked at high-resolution satellite images released by NDTV, a 3-meter wide crater next to an underground facility of the PAF is visible. Moreover, other hangars also look visibly ravaged. Damien Simon, a geospatial intelligence researcher, posted on platform X, "Structural damage is evident at this facility, believed to serve as a command and control node near the UAV complex of the airbase," unquote. Meanwhile, in another huge global embarrassment for Pakistan's new Field Marshal, Prime Minister Sharif gifted him a fake photo to honor Pakistan's military operations. This image is from an older Chinese military drill. It's not even Pakistani. And it just exposes how Pakistani officials have been using fake propaganda not just to fool their own nation, but also influence global media, especially on the Rafah. But what do you believe? Is Pakistan right to be terrified of India, as it sees Bharat as an existential threat to its survival? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.